My name is Marissa Johnson, and this is for my Speech 131 class. Today we're going to be talking about the history of orphanages. According to the American Orphanage website, approximately 18 million children are left in orphanages each year. These children are our future, and they are left in terrible conditions every single day. They suffer extremely bad mental illnesses resulting from going home to home. They are a way for the rich to gain money off of the poor, and they usually become lifelong servants. Orphanages began as a safe place for kids who lost their parents due to major epidemics such as wars, massacres. The first orphanage was created because of a war between whites and Indians. The Indian children went off to camps where they weren't allowed to use their native language, and that is according to the Overview of Orphanage ebook. Many weren't even orphans. A lot of the kids, they actually had families, and they were just kind of ripped out of those families. And usually for these institutions, the more kids, the more money the institution would have. So that is a way that they became money for the rich. For these children, a lot of them suffered a lot of lifelong consequences. They had mental illnesses, psychological damage, lots of counseling. In 1984 to 1992, there was an increase in kids going in and out of temporary homes, which that can be a stressful situation. You're not in a permanent situation where you have a family to rely on. You're going home to home. They usually had higher psychological issues in orphans rather than normal kids with more than one parent and whatnot, and not getting bounced and whatnot. A lot of the kids that were of immigrants were ripped from their families and put into orphanages. Few were even adopted out. A lot of orphans, they became servants, so they stayed in the orphanages and went out and became maids, butlers, and whatnot like that. And that goes into my third point. Most were treated like servants according to the Tender Age ebook. Families were too poor to care for their own children, and that resulted in the rich gaining basically control of these children, and they were, like I said, put out to be butlers, maids. Parents would beg to have their kids back and pay off their debt, and that was from the A View of Orphanage's website. In conclusion, children were treated as money pawns, suffered mental issues, and became lifelong servants. Orphanages were rather a burden rather than a beneficial thing to have in society. The children of the past suffered many hardships, such as the lack of affection, mental disabilities, and they were treated very harshly instead of like family. The future shouldn't have to struggle like the past did. And now I'm going to go into my visual aids. So the first graph represents the number of orphans between 1990 and 2010. So the lowest is Latin America and the Caribbean. They maintained the 1990-2010, the numbers never changed. Asia actually was the highest, no matter how you look at it. 1990 was the highest, 2010 got a little lower, but it was still up there. And sub-Saharan Africa, it started out actually really small, and then it got higher as time went on. And if you look here, that was according to the GMU EDU website. And now if you look here, every 18 seconds a child becomes an orphan, that kind of goes into the 18 million kids become orphans every day or each year. And if you look here, these two are photos of a view of orphanages around the world. This one is in Korea, according to the wordpress.com, and These are like young toddlers. They're all in cribs and they have no room to get out on the floor, no room to play. And as they get older, nothing really changes. They're still living in those conditions. They don't have a lot of room to do anything or act like a kid. And if you look here, this one looks extremely sad to be where they are at. And that would be it. And now, to conclude my speech, I'm also going to introduce my audience real quick.
Hello, my name is Chris.
Hello, my name is John.
All right, and that's it. Thank you.